Hi guys, this is video tutorial for NeutrinoParticles Editor, and in this tutorial I want to show you how to create water template for effects, which you can find in samples project templates Water01. It is not really complex effect, it has only one emitter, and in this tutorial you will see some advanced techniques how to add diversity to parameters of particles, how to make them much more random. So let's start. I have empty project, create effect, water. By default I have starting position in 0 point, and for this effect it is fine. Let them to be created in 0 point, and in changing position, start velocity, to have a stream, I need to limit starting velocity with something like point from path. So point from path will define a range of velocities for particles. So on this path random point will be chosen, and velocity vector will be from 0 point to this chosen point. And this vector will be relatively to 0 point, so even when you move your effect, if you attach this effect to some dynamic object in your game, this velocity will always direct in the same position. So when you define it, you define it relatively to 0 point. So I have this path. I need much more particles, not 5 but 20 per second, even 30. Then I need to have gravity, so I switch to motion with forces. It will keep the same start velocity as I made for steady motion. So we have the same start velocity and forces. So I'll add some air resistance, 0.5, yes, and by default we have a directed force 100 down. Let's have it 400 down, yes. Now let's play with start velocity. It's not, you can see that starting velocity is really small, even if I define range with path with such length, it will slow down pretty fast because of air resistance. So we need some technique to increase it without moving off path, just like multiply it by 10. To make that we need to convert this point from path value to multi-value, or multi-distribution as it's called in the editor. And now we can use expression with this value. This point from path is A, and I can multiply this A by 10, for example. Well, 10 is too much, probably 3 is good. And air resistance, I'll take air resistance 0.2. And now I can easily tune velocity by this by this path. Yeah. And now all velocity vectors have the same length, because we have random point on path, and it is still it will have like 150 length. So we need to add some randomness to this length. We will have A as velocity vector, and I'm going to add another one value B. This value will be random value from 0.8 till 1, and it will be multiplier for this velocity vector. So the expression will be A multiplied by B multiplied by 3. To see clearly the difference, I'm going to make range of B from 0 to 1. You can see difference. So velocity vector defined by path is multiplied by random value from 0 to 1. If it is 0, then velocity will be 0 and particles just fall down without any starting speed. And if it is 1, then point from vector from path will be unchanged and particles fly far away. I'll keep it 0.8, and it will add a little randomness to this length, and our stream becomes not so consistent. Okay, let's play with size. Size is 30. I'm going to make it 60, and it will be ending size, like destination size of particles. Now they don't have any change in size, so I'm going to make it multiplier. By default it is decreasing from 1 to 0, and I'm going to make it from 0 to 1. You can see how size of particles is changed during their lives. I'll set it not from 0 but from 0.2, and maybe not so linear. Let it be Bezier curve. Yeah. It may particle becomes larger, not so fast, like with some acceleration or deceleration. So now we need more particles, 40, even 50, and you can see that the total number of particles is 100, so we achieved a limit of particles for this emitter. By default it is 100, so I need to click on emitter and increase it to 200. And again to add some particles, 50 per second, 75 per second. Yeah. Okay. Now let's add some randomness to maximum lifetime, to lifetime of particles. By default it is 2, and I'm going to make it random value from 1 to 3. It is by default from 1 to 3, and I think it is fine for now. Yeah. So some of particles live 1 second, some 3 seconds, and other between these values. And our size change in size, size multiplier, which is over particle life, is changed over those 1 second or 3 seconds. So whole life of a particle will be mapped to this x-axis from 0 to 1. Here is born of particle and here is death of it, like end of its life, and the size will be increased over this life. Now let's add some transparency. It will increase spectacularity of effect over particle life, and something like this: fade in the start and fade out in the end. I think we need to make multiplier even bigger in the end, so it is 1 in the end of life of particle. So it will be start size multiplied by 1, it will be 60, and let's make it even bigger, like 2. No, 2 is too much, I think. 1.5. So the resulting size will be something like 90. Yep. And the last step is rotation. We have phase rotation with a 0 starting angle without changing, so all particles are without rotation. And I'm going to make start angle random value from 0 to 360 and make it changing with steady motion, and not fixed steady motion but random speed. From minus 360 is too much, it will be minus 120 and 120. Let's make even more particles. 85. Also, starting velocity path, I'll make it a little bit narrow, so yeah, the stream becomes narrow, and we have something like water stream. In the end, we can even use texture from samples to make this effect finished. I'll go to samples project, open textures folder, and here we have fluid 2 texture. Ctrl C to copy it, and in test project, open textures folder, Ctrl V to paste it. And for this effect, I'm going to appearance properties, texture, and set texture fluid 2. This is a sprite sheet, so I need to count. Open textures folder, fluid. I need to count size of this sprite sheet: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 5. 15 per 5. Enable texture grid, set 15 per 5, and frame index will be over particle life, and over particle life graph will increase frame rate from 0 till 15 multiplied by 5 is 75. So for ending key I'll set 75. Yeah, I understood what is wrong. This sprite sheet is defined in a way that particles don't need rotation, but actually they need rotation, but by velocity, rotation by velocity, so they will turn by their x-axis always to the velocity, to the direction, their direction, and yeah, we have by velocity phased, and let's tune a little size to this for this texture, like 100, and starting point from path for starting velocity will make even more narrow. Size, starting multiplier for size, make 0.3. Something like that. And this curve not so curve. Well, it looks like water stream. But again, for different textures, for different effects, such tuning will be very different. So there is no any solution, like unique solution for any effect. So you need a lot of creation to finalize these templates. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye bye.